Welcome to 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten. I'm Lisa Springer, Children's Librarian at the Kate Waller Barrett branch of the Alexandria Library, and this week I have just one book to add to your 1,000 books. But if you like this version of the Nutcracker, we have others at the library as well. This one is a retelling by Susan Jeffers, and it closely follows the version I grew up on, which is the New York City Ballet's version, complete with the little girls being named Marie instead of Clara. After we read the book, we're going to do some dancing. And I have a couple of props that I'm going to be using, like a fan and a scarf. But if you don't have those props at your house, just grab whatever you have on hand or dance without any props at all. That works too. And if you'd like to see a full-length version, the way I usually would do it at the library, there is a separate video here on our YouTube channel that has all the dances we normally do. Susan Jeffers, The Nutcracker. It was Christmas Eve at the Stahlbaum's house. Marie and her little brother Fritz were listening at the ballroom door, waiting for the party to begin. Everyone was dancing when the last guest arrived. "Godfather!" cried Marie, rushing back to greet him. Herr Drosselmeyer was not only Marie's godfather, but he was also a famous toy maker. He could make toys that moved and clocks that called the hours as sweetly as a nightingale. Herr Drosselmeyer brought presents for the children. He gave Fritz a box of toy soldiers. For Marie, there were 2 dolls, Harlequin and Columbine, who danced with each other. "I have another present for you, Marie," said Herr Drosselmeyer, handing her a wooden nutcracker. "I want you to take good care of him." "Not fair!" Fritz shouted. "She has 3 presents." He grabbed the nutcracker from Marie and tossed him in the air. The nutcracker crashed to the floor and broke his head. "So what?" jeered Fritz. "It was an ugly thing." Herr Drosselmeyer bound Nutcracker's head with his handkerchief. Tenderly, Marie took Nutcracker in her arms, and she put him under the Christmas tree. Outside in the street, the carriages waited. After a flurry of goodbyes, Fritz and Marie were sent up to bed. "But my poor Nutcracker is all alone," thought Marie, tiptoeing back downstairs. Holding Nutcracker close, she soon fell asleep. Herr Drosselmeyer slipped into the room and, raising his hand, cast a bit of magic. Did you see those mice? Bang! 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 The grandfather clock struck midnight. Marie stirred and rubbed her eyes. The Christmas tree was growing. Around her came a scampering of mice. Squeak! Squeak! They were gathering like an army to attack. Their ruler was the Mouse King, who had 7 heads and 7 crowns. Marie held Nutcracker tight and ran as fast as she could. Nutcracker leapt out of Marie's arms and held his sword at the ready. Fritz's toy soldiers took their battle positions. Swords flashed and cannons fired. Boom! 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 Nutcracker fought bravely, but the Mouse King was stronger. "No!" cried Marie. "You shall not hurt him!" And she pulled off her slipper and threw it with all her might at the Mouse King. The Mouse King sank to the floor. Gathering up their king, the mice dragged him away. From the shadows, Herr Drosselmeyer saw Marie's bravery. He raised his hand, and Nutcracker was transformed into a handsome prince. The prince bowed to Marie and placed the Mouse King's sparkling crown upon her head. "Come," said the prince. They walked through falling snowflakes to a waiting boat that flew them through the night. "Welcome to my kingdom," said the prince. "But where are we?" asked Marie. "You are in the land of sweets," said the sugar-plum fairy, coming through the gate of the kingdom. "Welcome home, dear prince. We will have a party to celebrate your return." the Sugar Plum Fairy led the Prince and Marie to the seat of honor. Coffee, chocolate, Chinese tea, marzipan, and Mother Ginger and her Pulcinellas all danced for them. Pink roses waltzed. At last the Sugar Plum Fairy danced. She seemed lighter than air. Too soon, it was time to leave. As they flew homeward, Marie asked the prince, "Will I ever see you again?" And the prince replied, "One day your courage and kind heart will be rewarded. Do not forget me." "What are you doing under the tree?" Marie said her mother the next morning. "Wake up," said Herr Drosselmeyer. Marie opened her eyes and she hugged her Nutcracker. She whispered, "If only you were alive, I would not care if Fritz said you were ugly. I would love you anyway." Herr Drosselmeyer raised his hand, and Nutcracker again became the Prince of Fairyland. The prince said to Marie, "The Mouse King imprisoned me under an evil spell. Because you love me no matter what I look like, his spell is broken. I have been returned to my true form." Years passed, and the prince and Marie became engaged. After their wedding, they rode to the land of sweets in a coach trimmed in gold, pulled by 4 silver horses. And to this day, there are those who say Maureen is the queen of a wondrous fairyland that only those who believe can see. That's the end. And that's the end. This is The Nutcracker, as retold by Susan Jeffers. It's Christmas, and the whole family is coming to visit. The other grandmother and grandfather, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the friends, they've all come to the house. And they're all getting party hats, crowns, and they're all going to do a grand march. And you're invited to march too. Do you have your crown? If you don't, that's okay. You can do this without a crown. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to march. And I'm going to do the steps mostly in place because I don't have that much space. If you've got a lot of space in your house, you can make this a great big grand march. We're going to march 8 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to jump out and jump in and jump out and jump in, and then we're going to salute. When you jump in and out, by the way, that's called an échappée. We're also going to walk around all by ourselves in a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to go the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're also going to march in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to do one more thing in this dance. The music is going to get very fast in the middle, and we're going to gallop. In ballet, you call it a chasse. And you can do a chasse to the side, but you're more likely going to do it like this, in a circle. And again, depending on how much space you have, you can make these big steps or small steps. I'm not going to talk while we're dancing. You just do what I'm doing, or better still, do what the music tells you to do. Are you ready? Then we're going to have the grand march at the party. Here we go. we're going to do tea, also sometimes called the Chinese dance. And we're going to do a step called cheval. In French it means horse, and it just means you're going to pick up your feet and prance. I'm going to pick up my feet and turn my feet in a little bit because this is sort of more the real ballet step, but you can do it this way too. We're also going to do the jump out and jump ins we did before, also known as an échappé. Jump out, jump in, jump out, jump in. And we're going to walk on our toes. If you don't want to walk on your toes, you can just walk in a little circle, but it's a lot of fun to walk on your toes like this, or best of all, to do a ballet step called a bourrée, where you're going to cross your feet, get high on your toes, and take tiny little steps with your feet. Are you ready? We're going to dance tea. Even if you've never seen the Nutcracker, you'll recognize this music because the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy is used in so many things, including a whole lot of Christmas commercials. I'm using my ribbon scarf today. You might have one of our ribbon rings at home. If not, grab a scarf or anything else you have in the house. Usually at the library we do this with straws with ribbons attached to them, and that's a fun prop to make at home. In this dance, we're going to move our scarves this way and that way, up and down and this way and that way. We're going to walk around in a circle holding our scarves. You can walk on your toes if you want, but you don't have to. And at the end of this music, we're going to move very, very, very quickly and wave our scarves everywhere. Are you ready? Here comes the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. thank you for dancing with me. But before we go, we're going to do reverence. Reverence means basically thank you. We are saying thank you to people we dance with. So I say thank you to you, merci, and you say thank you to me, merci. You can do the bow, or you can do the curtsy. There are other much fancier curtsies. I'm going to do a few of those. But here we go with reverence. Thank you so much for dancing with me today.